So, how do you set up a show? Well, there are many ways you can set up a show, but what you need is you need a premise. You need a solid idea and recurring themes. Wow. I mean, those are what make the best shows. Also, you gotta throw in a mix of reality. So it's gotta make sense, even if it's a fantasy. It's gotta have concrete ideas that fit together. So, like, Friends, some people don't like because they don't think it was really a concrete show, especially given that they only got Ross and Rachel together because of the fans. Which you should never do, by the way. You should never follow your fans. You should follow your plan. See, in a movie, it's different because you see one version of it. And if you make a sequel, then you make a sequel. But the thing is, you've got to want to make a sequel. You've got to have an idea for a sequel, like Christopher Nolan and Batman Begins. Like, Batman Begins is the first movie, and then we have a second movie because Christopher Nolan always planned to do another one. But what's also interesting is there's no Batman 2, Batman 3. That stuff is stupid. Don't do that. Now You See Me did that, and it's clever, but they should have done Now You See Me 2, like TOO. That would have been cool, but they didn't do that. They just followed the stupid version of 2. Apparently, you make more money if you do a Toy Story 2 than a Toy Story with something else, even though it's a sequel, because it's easier to follow for idiots. But anyway, the point is, you need to have a base for your show or movie. But let's talk about shows right now. So How I Met Your Mother has recurring themes. The blue French horn, the yellow umbrella. We have recurring people. Ted Mosby, Robin Schabotsky, Marshall Erickson, and Lily Aldrin. But they're like the recurring characters because they're following the show. It's about Ted's life, but it's actually about Ted's friends' lives as well. Whereas Friends is kind of like Seinfeld. It's like a show about nothing, but Friends is more concrete. It doesn't have nothing. There are themes, but it's not very real. There's gaps that you feel you've missed. I don't know. What's a good show is you have episode 1 and episode 2 follows episode 1, like Breaking Bad, Better Call Saul. These are good shows. Like well written and well mastered shows. Like they know what they want. They have an idea. Vince Gilligan always had the idea that Walter White would become Heisenberg, would become a completely different person by the end of the show. With Better Call Saul, we're not really sure because we're only in season 3, which is fine. The point is, you've got to have reality based in your show, even if it's a fantasy. Harry Potter, we've got a portal fantasy. We've got the wizarding world, and we've got the boring muggle world, which isn't really boring, it's just different. But if you really want to go out on the limb, Game of Thrones is a fantasy. There are warlocks. I don't give a fuck because I hate that show because I'm not really into that shit. But anyway, especially since he cheated, and I hate cheaters. By the way, a cheater is someone who cheats on a woman or a man when they're already in a relationship as a girlfriend or boyfriend. But also a cheater is somebody who takes someone else's idea and writes it as if it's their own. J.K. Rowling is technically a cheater, but the way she did her story is very clever. Apparently, George R.R. Martin stole his idea from some other interesting con. Right? The point is, anyone who copies other people's work and places it as their own is an idiot and a cheater. So anyway, those are cheaters. But anyway, the point is, if you want to set up a story, you've got to have an idea. You've got to have a central theme, and you've got to have something that you're focusing on. what will the show be about? How I Met Your Mother is about Ted Mosby. Friends is about friends. Seinfeld is about Jerry Seinfeld and his friends. Breaking Bad is about Walter White's disintegration into Heisenberg. Better Call Saul's central theme is um, sort of sketchy lawyer becomes an extremely sketchy lawyer, but we don't know how that happens and who will be involved. But what's also cool is if you're going to make a sequel to a show, it's better to not do the same thing. So with Breaking Bad, it's about Walter White. Better Call Saul is about Jimmy McGill, who becomes Saul Goodman. But what's cool is you keep the old characters, like Michael Ehrmantraut, and you introduce new characters, but also they're old characters. We've seen them before, like Crazy 8, who's, I forget his name. But the point is, that's what makes a good show, because you've already got fans for specific characters, like Gus Fring. Gus Fring is in Better Call Saul. So not only do you want to keep a good plot, a good structure for your new show, but it's always cool to have reoccurring characters. If you're going to do a sequel. But if you're just going to do a show, you need to have a central theme. So let's focus on Gotham. What's the central theme of Gotham? The central theme of Gotham is the origin story. The Gotham is an origin story. So we get to learn the origin of the Joker, we get to learn the origin of Batman, we get to learn the origin of Catwoman, we get to learn the origin of Penguin, blah, 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 blah. That's what Gotham is. But let's take a whole new show. Let's call it, I don't know. I can't think of anything right now. But I turn into a TV show. The Toronto Man, which is like Family Guy, but let's just do it for kicks. So the Toronto Man was the main focus. The main focus is a cartoon of, this is terrible idea. Let me try something else. Could be a good show. Okay, well, let's take the main character, who's about protector of a city. Let's take the central city. Let's take the city Toronto. And there's this guy, and he wants to protect a city that doesn't need protection. So, what's your central theme? Your central theme is protection. But when protection is not needed, someone who wants to be a superhero, like Batman, who's not really a superhero, he's just a person with lots of cool gadgets, Bruce Wayne. But it's like Batman in Toronto. Like, we don't need a protector in this city because our city isn't corrupt. Our city isn't Gotham, basically. So, and what's amazing about Christopher Nolan's finish of his series is Batman leaves the entire organization that he's created, which I think is pretty cool. But anyway, the point is, so you've got a kid who wants to be a superhero, but like Batman. But he knows that he's not needed. So, what is his purpose? Why is he in the show? So you would have to figure out, like, what you want to do with that. Like, you know, a guy in Toronto who wants to be Batman, but knows that he doesn't need to be Batman because he's not needed, so he tries other ways of trying to protect a city that doesn't need protecting, like, I don't know, learning ninja moves, doing taekwondo, can go through his high school experience. I don't know, it doesn't matter. The point is that that's the central focus of the show. And maybe he'll actually end up meeting a villain or somebody that decides to keep haunting him throughout the season or series. Because the thing is, once you produce a show, it's like a pitch. Well, it is a pitch. Your pilot is your pitch. You write one episode, you write the script, you get everything down, packed, and then you basically ship it to NBC or ship it to whatever. And they'll put it on TV if they like it. And if they like it, they're waiting to see what happens. What do people think about it? How many viewers watch the show? Because you can figure that shit out. And if your show is a success, you do an episode 2. If your show is not a success, well, you go back to the drawing board. But point is you can't think that your show's going to be a success. You just hope it does. Like books, some books sell, some books don't. It's not your fault always. Might be that there are idiots reading stupid shit and they don't understand what real books are about, or there are idiots, there are people reading good books, but they don't see your book because your book isn't really where they're looking for. Like J.K. Rowling's Harry Potter was marketed as Pokemon. So if you want to promote a show, you might want to find something that makes sense, like Batman with a twist. That would be interesting. People are like, ooh, what does that mean? Because everyone knows who Batman is, so they wouldn't be curious as to what your show is. Anyway, that's some little advice about script writing and making TV